Curling Alberta's 50-50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
What do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Curling Alberta's 50-50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today at the Leduc Club for the 2025 Alberta Optimist U18 Provincial Championships. My name is Justice, and I'm proud to represent Alberta here to introduce the team and this draw's matchup that you will enjoy. Now let's meet our teams. Our boys matchups on sheets Alpha and Delta. On sheet Alpha, we have from the Leduc Curling Club, Team Hofstra. Versus from the South Hall Center, Team Henning. On Team Bravo, we have from the Medicine Hat Curling Club, Team Miller. And from the Preston Sherwood Park Curling Club, Team Voluchak. On Team Charlie, we have from the North Hill Curling Club, Team Clark. And from the North Hill Rocky and Sexsmith Curling Club, Team Duncan. On sheet Delta, we have from the Crestwood Curling Club, Team Schoenhardt, and from the Okotoks Curling Club, Team Bachek. finally, our girls matchups on Sheet Echo to Hotel. On Sheet Echo, we have the North Hill Curling Club, Team Yurko. Versus from the Grand Prairie Curling Club, Team McGrisman. On Sheet Foxtrot, we have from the Acadia Recreation Center, Team Roa.
Good morning, fans, spectators, and viewers. Welcome to Draw 3 of the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Championship here in Leduc, Alberta, brought to you through Curling Stadium Live. My name is Asmussen, and I am joined by Jason Ginter, and we are handshakes away from getting started here with our two feature teams of Nathan Schoenhardt and Kesler Bachek. And Jason, we have a game going today for all of our viewers, don't we?
We sure do. Yeah, it's going to be a great battle. Both of these teams yesterday started with 1 win, 1 loss, so both right in the thick of the standings. And I think that they're semi-familiar with each other. Team Bachek, younger team, under 15 eligible, and crushing it on the U15 circuit this year. And then we have Team Schoenhardt, who I think they're a relatively new team this year together, but Nathan last year led his team to 3rd place at this event. So I'm looking forward to the action.
Now, Jason, just to make sure that we don't get confused and our spectators get confused as their jerseys look a little bit similar out there, we have Team Schoenhardt throwing the red rocks today, and that lineup is Reed Jones, Carter Bishop, Jack O'Dean, and Nathan Schoenhardt with their coach Robert Noren, and they are curling out of the Crestwood Curling Club. And we have our throwing team right now throwing the yellow rocks is Team Bachek, skipped by Kesler Bachek, Andrew Southworth at 3rd, Dylan Miller at 2nd, Max Ingram at lead, coached by Don Bachek out of the Okotoks Curling Club. And like you said, both teams are 1-1 with their record, looking to pull up a winning record here today and get some momentum going in through the rest of the week into the playoff situation.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're already discussing playoff situation, and it's only day 2 here, draw number 3. But each one of these round robin games super important. As you check off each team on the list, you'll get to play everyone, which means you only get to play everyone once. This is their one chance at each other. So who knows if they're tied at the end of the week? This game's going to be that tiebreaker. So every game's super important here.
Max Ingram with the opening stone here. A little bit more of an aggressive start to this game, unlike some of the other games that we've featured throughout the week, where it's been a little bit more open, trying to learn the ice and learn the venue itself. But that might be a testament to Bachek's experience throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see, although Team Bachek has played in a number of U15 events this year, they've also made sure that they've scheduled a couple of U18 events as well. So they were able to play teams, such as Team Schoenhardt here. They shouldn't be afraid to mix it up, really.
Now we're going right for it. 2 guards set up so far at the start of this game, and these teams know exactly what they're set out to do. Now, what is the advantage, Jason, of taking a little bit more risk and throwing those guards in the free guard zone versus playing a little bit more of a simpler end to start by bringing those rocks into the rings?
I like what Team Bachek is doing, mainly because it's a short game, 8 ends. If you throw that rock into the rings, now Team Schoenhardt can just simply whack it up and down and take out, make the blank end, and now that's 1 less end for them to score. So now it looks like we have 1 guard and 1 biter at the top of the house. It's less likely Team Schoenhardt is able to blank the end, and you trade ends back and forth. Now Team Schoenhardt would have 4 ends to score, and Team Bachek would have 4 ends to score.
Team Schoenhardt and Skip Nathan asking Reed to make the hit and roll here. Now, Jason, you brought up a really important part of this event itself. It is an 8-team round robin. That is 7 games, but these games are 8 ends only. So they are shorter games, 34 minutes of thinking time. But our athletes do have access, under the Curling Canada rules, to access their coaches. And then you'll see that behind our skips here in our feature screen, that the coaches are sitting just to the left and the right of the sheet itself, and that becomes a valuable piece of the puzzle here for these athletes as they navigate not only the first end but the sheet itself through all 8 ends.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be able to access their coach using a coach interaction once per end. So if they use them every end, they'll get to speak to their coach 8 times during the game, and then between ends, they'll be able to talk to their coach as well. So it's nice to see that the coaches are being more involved now, not just simply sitting behind the glass and coming out to have a strategic input once or twice a game. It's nice they're able to sit out on the ice as well to listen to communication styles, to provide some more meaningful impacts throughout the game, and then they'll be able to actually have more to discuss after the game because they were able to hear everything.
So Nathan Schoenhardt asking Carter to make a nose hit or maybe a little bit of a roll on this guard here.
So really needing to curl.
Just can't get the curl sweep to get it close enough to make contact. And and that's probably one of those optics of having that long guard too, as well, as you see that in your point of view or in your windshield, your perspective, and you try to make sure you don't come close to it, but you end up setting that rock back just a little too much and not giving it the chance it needs to make contact.
I agree. I think this is one of the maybe the downsides of going after it earlier in a game, is that you have less of a read on the ice conditions in the first end. You don't have as much time to learn about maybe certain spots in the ice, if there's differences, if there's certain paths that are straighter or curl a little bit more. So without the hammer, you're taking a little bit of that risk because you don't have the last rock. But even with the hammer, if you leave these guards hanging around, all of a sudden, if you get caught on a spot here or there, this center line gets clogged up very early.
And paying the price for not making contact with that yellow guard there on their first stone there, as Team Bachek is able to wrap a yellow stone around top 4.
Yeah, you'll see Team Schoenhardt looking to clear the center now. It looks like they're attempting to make some sort of combo off of their own red. Maybe hope it spins down. And look at that great shot there by Team Schoenhardt.
And even though that yellow rock does roll over in behind that red stone, Schoenhardt with the hammer now has created a little bit of space, a lot more space in that 4 foot, just in case they need to have that chance to score at the end.
Now, Evan, I know you've been on the broadcast since draw number 1. What are you seeing with the ice conditions here in the Leduc building?
I'm very familiar with the club itself, but that being said, it has shown some interesting tendencies that it's taking a while for some of these teams to catch on to, but it looks like we're seeing in almost all the sheets, side of the sheet that is a little bit slanted. And that looks like it's mirroring differently on different sheets as we go across. And it'll be interesting to see if these teams pick up on it, specifically later on in the ends. As the sheet has been fresher to start, it has a little bit more of a natural bite to it. It's curling quite consistently, but as the ice starts to break down, that slant is starting to show itself a little bit more predominantly. And I'm not quite sure if which side we're going to see it on here, but we may see today one side of the sheet take a little bit more curl than the other.
That will be one of the keys, I think, for the coaches if they're sitting behind and watching each shot go down the ice, to maybe communicate with their teams between ends, just to see, hey, this is what I'm seeing, what are you seeing, and help lead that conversation.
And part of me thinks maybe we just got a little bit of an inkling as to which side might curl, and I'm not 100% sure how well Jack threw that stone there, but it did overcurl a little bit, promoting another yellow stone, that guard, into play. So, and into the 4-foot itself. Tough go in that shot.
Yeah, if I'm one of the players on the ice, I'm looking at patterns. I'm seeing, okay, well, one of my teammates just undercurled on an in turn going away, and now this next one overcurled on the out turn. I'm going to start to clue in, just like you said, it might be curling a little more towards the left side of our screen here.
And Andrew Southworth bringing that rock right to the top of the 12-foot, peeking out just a little bit on the, I guess, low side of that guard, and just opening up that rock to the 4-foot.
Yeah, this is a shot Jack's going to have to make here. They're just attempting to just draw down to it. If he just taps it about a foot, but still keeps the line, I think it would be still a very usable stone. Very important, Jack at least stays in the top of the house here.
Really working hard to get this rock off that corner guard there. Does make contact with the corner guard and slides just underneath that red guard, maybe biting the top of the 12-foot. You know, yesterday, Jason, Taryn and I talked about, and Abby and Haley talked a little bit about the tolerance of the shot and really having that understanding of the range in which shots can be made, and you alluded to that with Jack's rock here. How important is that for our teams moving forward?
It's super important. As we see Team Bachek just with their first interaction of the game, I think at the U18 level, you're not going to see the teams make every shot, right? But as long as the shots that are not made perfectly are still made within tolerance, super usable stones, you'll see those.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for
twos or threes, very important.
So we're getting our first, sorry, Jason, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it looked like they've elected to throw the center guard just to guard up that rock that they have touching the button. It's bound to put a lot of pressure on Team Schoenhardt. You know, with Nathan earning the last rock advantage, he would have already drawn the button once. So there's a chance that he has draw weight in his pocket, but this is going to be, you know, Kesler Bachek saying, okay, prove it again.
And our first look at Kesler Bachek here in draw number 3, feeling super confident after coming off of a great year of curling so far, and puts his rock in a pretty good spot to take away that draw to the side of the button. Now, Jason, there is a little bit of a port there. Do you think that Nathan's going to try to navigate that?
It looks like based on where the broom is placed, that he's looking to navigate the port. Now, this is the side of the ice that, if we're just judging by the first few rocks, curls a little bit less than the other side. So I think this shot is there to, come down with quiet weight and just kind of move that rock about a foot or two. You might also be playing more of a hack weight shot and try to roll in behind that rock that Kesler just threw.
Team liking it so far. Camera's giving us a little bit of a different look, but it looks like it's just going to overcurl and capture the top one. But rolls to not bad of a position for second shot.
Yeah, so there it is. We're talking about tolerance there. If Nathan was wide and hit that corner guard, now Kesler's, your Team Bachek is line 4. Him being a little bit on the inside, knowing that he could still bounce off the top one, sit second shot, that's a pretty good result.
Now I have to say, Jason, I'm super impressed. We had the opportunity to look at Nathan there in his first stone of the end, and I have just been blown away by the technique and the technical work that a lot of these teams have in their skill set. These kids look like they have been doing this for a lifetime already.
Yeah, curling in Alberta, the teams that are curling now consistently, they know that they can't just show up and play. A lot of them work very hard in their own junior programs with their own coaches and their own curling clubs, and it's so important that we have good quality coaches to be able to teach this technique. I think these two teams are perfect examples of that.
So Kesler Bachek trying to make a better guard here and to take that port that was once navigated by Schoenhardt and take it away. And it looks like he's done a good enough job there, but there might be a small angle raise for 2 here.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough shot for Nathan. It looks like he's lining up the out-turn side. This is that same spot that Jack had played earlier in the end. So we know it's going to curl. It's just a matter of whether or not it's going to curl enough after that high guard for 2 points. But just because Nathan hit the top rock and rolled in for second shot, it forced Kesler into at least leaving a shot for 2. So Kesler chose the harder shot.
So final stone here of end number 1. Nathan Schoenhardt, Team Schoenhardt, looking to make this short run back for 2 points. Clean sweep early. Sweeper's liking it. A little bit of a leg, but that's okay. It looks like it's just going to over curl for us there, just missing the tap itself, and it is a steal of 1 for Team Bachek at the end of end number 1. We'll be back with you in end number 2 of our Provincial Championship here in Leduc.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Curling Alberta's 50-50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
Welcome back to the Leduc Curling Center here in Leduc, Alberta. We have Draw 3 action for you at the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Championship. And it is brought to you by Curling Stadium Live. My name is Asmussen, joined by Jason Ginter. And Jason, we have a 1-0 lead for Team Bachek going into the second end, and a very, very surprising outcome, but nonetheless a very intense first end so far for our game today.
Based on the start of that end, I wouldn't say it was super surprising with the amount of rocks we saw in play, but just the ability for Team Bachek to execute early, maybe just catch up on the ice a little bit earlier than Team Schoenhardt showed that they could produce that steal of 1 in the first end. Really nice to see both of these teams not being afraid to mix it up early.
Now, Jason, yesterday we talked a lot about the importance of scoreboard management, and we see Team Bachek taking the first lead in the first end here of our scoreboard. But navigating these 8 ends is going to be super important, and navigating the hammer in different ends is also going to be important. Walk us through some of the thinking now as Bachek takes this 1-0 lead moving into the second end of play.
I think just knowing that you kind of caught Team Schoenhardt early in the first end, with the steal and lying at one point. I think it was 4 in the house. You see that Team Bachek starts with the center guard in the second end. A lot of these teams, especially at a younger age, they start with a lead. They would throw their first one in the house, not being totally against just playing a hitting game and blanking the end. I think Team Bachek is thinking, okay, we have them early. Let's see if we can keep on the aggressive side and see if we can get a bit more of a lead. The other thing, I think, with the 5-rock rule, if you throw a rock in the house, a team with the hammer can just simply hit and roll to the wings. Now you're forced to hit it back. If you don't make the roll back to the center, now there's no rocks on the center line, and it gives the team with the hammer a free chance to throw a corner guard. And then the 5th rock won't be able to peel that corner guard, and that stays in play. And now the team with the hammer has the advantage. So I really like the center guard. Long story short, I love the center guard call for Team Bachek. Looks like Team Schoenhardt is throwing the come around to the wing to play towards their corner, and we'll start to see some runbacks being played by Team Schoenhardt.
And both Leeds in Max and in Reed are having a wonderful start to end number 2 here, making both of their shots here to start off the end. And you know what, Jason, that really is an advantage in having your leads set up the end so precisely as both these teams have. It really allows for the gameplay and for the end play of each team to kind of come to fruition.
Absolutely, and you might know that better than most, Evan, playing lead on your team, how important those first 4 rocks are in the end. If the rocks aren't being placed in the right spots, now the strategy kind of goes out the window, and we might be forced to play some more bail shots early with the second stones. So we see this one coming in. We are getting the curl. It's just a little strong coming into the house.
So Dylan just sliding to the back of the 12-foot there. Yellow sitting the shot zone as it looks on our screen right now. Perfectly, or kind of half hidden behind that center line guard. And it looks like Schoenhardt is going to take the chance now to make a move on that center line.
Yeah, that rock slipping deep gives Team Schoenhardt a free crack at this run back. As we see Carter Bishop throwing the intern.
So peels away the center line, just narrowly misses the double attempt on the back one. And Bachek will have the opportunity now to either replace it or to open it up for his team and expose that red rock behind the corner.
This time, again with intolerance there from Team Schoenhardt, it gives, Team Bachek can just throw the guard back again, but if that guard is ever missed on the wrong side, it may leave a chance to access that rock on the top of the 8-foot. With a lead, knowing that it's okay to just kind of play a clean and open end, Kesler saw some trouble and decided to clear. And moved a lot of rocks in the process, holy smokes.
So running that rock into their own stone here at the top there, and removed some of that play up at the top of the house. Nathan Schoenhardt has the opportunity now to sit 2 here and either address the one at the back of the 12 or split the rings. Yesterday, Jason, we noticed that these teams had a difficult time in the early ends and earlier on in the end maintaining that deuce by splitting the house. A little bit of a challenge being able to hold that throughout the whole entire end.
Yeah, I agree. I think the teams, when they see their one rock on one side of the ice, they're more likely to just, first thought would be to open it and just throw on the other side of the house, split the house. If the rock isn't placed, perfectly even or in a spot where there is no double, it allows the team to either have a crack at the double, potentially make a hit and roll over so that there's a double in the next shot. But yeah, we see as this rock comes up short. It's not necessarily a terrible result. It's better than through the house, but it gives Team Bachek a chance to put the force on. Splitting the house, early in an end requires the team with the hammer to be perfect to keep the deuce. And a mistake there from Team Bachek, jamming the rock in the back of the 12. Being caught out wide, that was the side we thought curled a little more. Maybe perhaps if you get a little wider, that stays straight. Gives Team Schoenhardt a chance to come around that rock they just threw. Now it looks like it is Jack O'Dean throwing the in-turn draw.
Sweepers on this early, trying to keep it straight, but also to find a little bit of depth here. Looks like it's really nice coming in. Can they hold it and push it a little bit further?
What a great sweep by Carter Bishop there to put it directly behind that rock in the tight guard zone, just biting the 8-foot. Now we'll see Team Bachek. Now they have themselves in a bit of trouble this end. Let's see if they can recover.
Now I see Kesler going to hit this back one here. Would you ever draw around the corner guard and that guard at the top of the rings?
I think that's an option. My first thought would be, making sure we get the rock that's going to give us the most trouble. I think this rock in the back of the 12-foot, you'll be able to hit this at any point in the end. I would be more apt to play the run back. You might make contact, you might not, but at some point you're going to have a crack at the double. Now we're just giving Team Schoenhardt a chance to draw around that center or that off-center guard again. So that might have been a potential coach interaction play, in my opinion.
Now it looks like Nathan is electing to split the rings here again and secure that deuce opportunity. Jack O'Dean with his final shot here in end number 2, looking to split the rings. Does look like it's a little bit heavy, getting a little bit of that knifing, curling action to get it to take a little bit more distance and potentially slow itself down as he throws it through the rings, and a missed opportunity for Team Schoenhardt.
Yeah, right idea, splitting the rings there, taking the play away from those two rocks on the edge of the 4-foot. Knowing that Team Bachek hit the back rock previously, they might do it again and just concede the deuce. Unfortunately, it went through the house. Now again, this might be an opportunity to take a crack at this run back. Perhaps they're seeing something that we haven't seen. Maybe in previous games that spot's been tricky. We know this spot does curl. We saw it with Jack's first shot there, but I think I'd be more likely to take a crack at the run back here.
Jason, both of these teams went right at her in the first end of this game, and to no surprise, it looks like Kesler sees an opportunity to potentially steal one here by making the perfect draw, and I think that's going to be the gumption of both of these teams, is to take advantage of opportunities when they have them and put a little bit of extra pressure on each other. They must know each other well enough to be able to do this kind of work against one another.
Now Team Bachek is urging this rock to get into the house, and it just corner freezes the guard. So unfortunately for Team Bachek, now that run back is being taken away. It gives Team Schoenhardt a chance to come around the stagger. Unfortunate break there.
With a perfect draw here, 3 is definitely in the mix for Team Schoenhardt. Nathan Schoenhardt with his first rock here in end number 2, looking to draw to the top of the 4-foot. Sweepers on this early to make sure it gets by that yellow just thrown by Kesler Bachek. And again, it looks like that big curl and a little bit of lighter weight is the demise of that shot here. So both teams trying to figure out this in-turn path coming out of the outside to the center.
Yeah, oftentimes, when the speed or the spot of the ice curls more on one side than the other, it also takes a bit more weight to get it to the other end. Just knowing, we saw the out turn of Jacks go through the house, going I guess on the straighter turn. Maybe this in turn is a little bit slower because it curls a little bit more. So we'll see if Team Bachek has learned from that. They're going to have another crack at this draw. If Kesler can throw this one right on the top of the 4-foot, it's going to be really hard to remove, and it gives Team Bachek the chance to steal again.
So Miller down with the pressure clean here. Just watching. It looks like it's slowly starting to take some of that curl and hopefully a little bit of the speed out of it too as well. Sweepers have dropped off now as this rock slides past the tee line to the back of the 8 and into the back of almost biting the 12th, and it looks like it stayed for shot rock still.
Yeah, pretty good result there from Team Bachek. You saw them urging the rock to curl. There was one sweeper from Team Bachek curling it or sweeping it after the tee line to curl, and Team Schoenhardt was trying to get it there for distance. Managed about as well as it could have been, I think, but it does leave Team Schoenhardt an opportunity to just tap it back a few inches to secure the lead.
So to make the tap on this rock here, what's the best way to address it? Do you play it with a little bit of weight? Are you trying to make sure you score?
I think just framing this in a way to make sure you score first, and then sweep the rock to add the weight. I think you're playing to sweep it. You want to make sure you're going to make contact with yellow, and at worst, you just draw to the yellow and get your 1. Important to stay within tolerance here.
And with no fail, Team Schoenhardt is able to tap that Yellowstone out and take 2 points here with a 2-1 lead going into the third end. We'll be back with you after our quick commercial break.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
So we are back live with you here through Curling Stadium at the Leduc Curling Center at the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Provincial Championship. Our feature game is Team Nathan Schoenhardt versus Team Kesler Bachek. And both of these teams are sitting with a 1-1 record. Team Schoenhardt here with the early lead going into the third end. And Jason, both of these teams have taken a different route to get to the Provincial Championship. This provincial championship for the U18s is a little unique in its sense that 2 teams pre-qualify through their ACT Tour points. That's the Bonspiel circuit that they would compete in through the duration of their curling season. But these 2 teams had to go through different qualifiers. Now, Team Bachek, they took one of the qualifying spots in Tabor, Alberta, and Team Schoenhardt took one of the qualifying spots at the Otwell Curling Club. Yet, at some point this season, though they didn't play each other in their qualifiers, they had the opportunity to compete against one another here, and so they're having a little bit of a rubber match.
Yeah, just looking through, I think they curled in one event where they both played in the same event. It happened to be back in Medicine Hat, back in November, at the U18 Cash Spiel there. And they were in the same pool. Team Schoenhardt won the first match. I think it was by an 8-1 score. And then they were able to play against each other again in the third place game, and Team Bachek was the winner. So they're no stranger to one another, these 2 teams. And obviously they both went at each other early and often with those lopsided scores. So both really unwilling to hit it out. They're more likely to risk it and play with a lot of rocks and play, as we see again here in the third end with the 2 guards up early. It's really nice to see. Should be making for some entertaining curling.
Now, Jason, there's I guess a conversation to be had about qualifying and the process of qualifying. Now, if your team, of course, has earned the right throughout the season and throughout their Bonspiel circuit to pre-qualify or to get a berth in, it kind of takes that opportunity of extra play away of gauging the field. But these 2 teams entered 2 different playdowns, and though they might not have seen each other in that playdown process, what are some of the advantages of coming through both sides, either the pre-qualifying spot or playing in different qualifiers?
I think there are pros and cons to both for sure. With the pre-qualified teams, one men's team and one women's team pre-qualifying for this event. Those teams have had a lot of success on tour this year, and it's important for Curling Alberta to recognize the tour as well as an important spot for growth, and important to support our junior teams and our clubs. So those teams, they've played a lot. They likely would prefer the break and not have to qualify through the qualifiers. However, these teams that that they don't play as much throughout the year, or they're more of the local teams to the region, they don't have the opportunity to travel to some of these events throughout the year. It's great to have that opportunity for them to qualify for the provincials through that route, and it gives them all a chance to just kind of see, okay, this is the U18, this is the skill level of the U18 teams this year. And prove themselves as to be one of the top 8 teams in the field.
So again, another great start by the front ends here, and man, oh man, it just makes a world of difference by having your front end players be that precise, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. We see both of these rocks on the edge of the 8-foot lined up perfectly. The rocks on the center line, although one a little high and one a little deep, the line is great, so it's drawing play towards the middle. Yeah, it's really important for these teams to at least start ends well, so that they can maintain their strategy throughout the end. This rock coming up a little short, we're going to see a lot of play towards the middle, which should play into the hand of Team Schoenhardt.
Carter Bishop with his second stone of the end here, being asked to draw to the top of the button, top of the 4-foot, and on that curlier side that we've recognized here early on in the game. It's be interesting to see how they navigate through all their information here over the last 2 ends. Oh, we're tapping. I missed that call.
Yeah, just a little bit overthrown there from Carter. The tap was the call. I think the tap or the draw might have been, an either or. Maybe they were playing the draw and he was heavy. Maybe playing the tap and he was heavy. either way, the Rocks through the rings, and it gives Team Bachek a chance to clear the middle now. This is pretty cool to see, Evan. These two teams, at least 3 out of the 4 members on both of these teams participated in the Alberta Rocks summer camps this year. It's cool to see them. They would have curled with each other, around each other throughout that week here in the Leduc Curling Center. It's nice to see that they both qualified here to come back and play in the U18 Provincials.
Well, you know, you alluded to it at the start of the game too, as well, is that there's tons of opportunity for teams to develop not only within themselves and through the Bonspiel tour and circuit, but also opportunity with camps and programming and services and resources offered in the province to get not only a little bit of extra support and outside support, but an opportunity to meet one another and to really see the depth of the field and the available athletes in the province. And Jason, you and I both know that this province is in good hands. We've got a lot of interest in the sport. We've got a lot of athletes who are really excited about the sport too as well. And just like this process here at the Provincial Championship, really hungry to compete.
Yes, I totally agree with you there. I think that our numbers have, since COVID, the numbers have been growing. So it's nice to see, and our U15 divisions are nice and strong now as well. Team Bachek being, I guess, the leading team on tour by quite a fair margin in the U15 side. It's really nice to see some of these teams growing through the ranks, growing through the divisions, and naturally they'll be competing in the U18 division now for the next few years. And bringing along some of their friends, maybe making friends with some of the other teams throughout those development opportunities.
Well, and I guess you never know who you're going to end up playing with, not just against, but with at some point in your life too as well. Curling is definitely a lifelong sport. It's kind of like riding a bicycle. Once you learn how to do it, you're able to pick it up really quickly throughout the duration of your life, and it offers you so many different opportunities, whether it be competitive, recreational, just for fun, family-based. And I think some of these teams would be surprised at how they end up meeting each other or greeting each other at some point in their life in the future. But the task at hand here is to beat one another here on our sheet today, and it looks like, again, we've got an end full of Rocks. Team Bachek there with control of the 4-foot, and a rock nicely placed at the top of the button. And Team Schoenhardt addressing the situation here.
Looks like Coach Robert Noren called the interaction there. Now they're playing the draw around. So it looks like they're attempting to sit second, third, and fourth shot in the house and looking to address that yellow stone at a later time.
I don't mind this call, Jason, only because second and third as it sits are both behind the tee line. So having a rock here kind of in that top 8, top 4, if it can stop, puts a little bit more pressure on Team Bachek to be precise.
Yes, although I agree, it was a nice call. I think it did slip about a foot or two deep. It's just allowed Team Bachek to draw right into it, and it created a little bit of a pocket here. It's like the optimal spot here would just be corner frozen now onto the red. And yeah, it's going to be really hard to remove.
Andrew Southworth with his last rock here in the third end, looking to corner freeze on that red stone. Just thrown by Team Schoenhardt. Sweepers it. Trying to get it there. Looks like it's just over curling, coming up just across the face of that stone, but a pretty good result.
Yes, very good. That basically negates those two in the back of the house now. So Kesler Bachek is sitting shot. Looks like there may be a port to sit two. but Team Schoenhardt isn't too concerned about that. I think their plan going into this end, if they're a well-coached team, would be to force, would be the optimal spot. And they see, okay, well, if we throw a guard, we have a good chance to force. Would you ever take a run at the port here, Evan?
Yeah, I mean, like, as it looks and with the camera view, I mean, obviously we don't see it through their eyes, but it does look like there's an opportunity to get through that port with some speed and at least sit shot stone. I don't know how it would move into those rocks off to the side, but an opportunity too if they've chosen to put a little bit of extra pressure. Really trying to make this curl. If they can get it across the face, maybe they can roll it to the center. But it looks like it was just a little heavy and a little bit wide of the broom, and not quite getting the result that they needed for Team Schoenhardt here to take away an opportunity to get back in there for Team Bachek.
That's just not the right side of tolerance there, Evan. Looked like just an overthrow. I think that might have got there. We just didn't get to see it get to the spot where it starts curling. Opens the door wide open for Team Bachek. Now, we might be concerned about this yellow rock being still exposed, right? There is that port. The run back is also accessible still to Team Schoenhardt to remove that rock in the yellow, or that yellow rock on the button, but I think if I'm Team Bachek, I'm trying to find a way to score 2, and 3 being a bonus. I think I'm just drawing right into that pocket.
Yeah, when you said navigate the port, and I was looking at ports and I see 2 right now, and I'm kind of licking my lips a little bit at this one to the left side of our screen here for Team Bachek, with that yellow rock that they did place with Andrew Southware's stone. Or was it maybe, yeah, Andrew Stone there. Could you navigate that port to get to the face of that yellow, remove that red?
It looks there, yes. I think we'd have to make a really precise shot. And, you know, the smart skips play the easiest shots to get the best results. And I think that's what Kesler Bachek is looking to do. He is urging that rock in. It looks like the result was a bit heavy, just tapped the red, but I think it looks like I guess he put the rock where he wanted to. It just moved the other red rock and left another port outer inside.
So Nathan Schoenhardt here with his last stone in the third end has an opportunity with half that stone here at the top of the button to make a play if he chooses. I think he's trying to navigate that port to get to the face of that stone, though he might be guarding the port here to put a little bit of pressure and force Bachek into making a difficult shot for the extra point. Final stone for Schoenhardt here in the third end. Sweepers are on and off here, looking to get that curl sweep. We got a huge knife here, and just wicks the outside red corner guard. Slides across the center underneath that yellow corner, leaving the yellow rock exposed and yellow sitting 1 with an opportunity for Team Bachek to potentially score their second point of the end.
This is a very interesting situation now. Looks like Team Bachek has 2 options to score points. One being that port on the left side. If they can squeeze through the port, they can potentially raise that yellow into second shot red and score their 2 that way. Looks like they might have an ability to wick off that rock on our right side of the screen and roll into, and maybe even if they get lucky, they hit it thin enough, they might even roll into that other red and score a potential 3.
Do you ever take on that double, or like you said, the wick into the top of the four with that risk and reward of a high reward of potentially 3 points?
I think just knowing that this intern port, I mean, it's no gimme. So if you're going to play one shot or the other, maybe I'd play for a potential 3. And it looks like with the coach interaction, Coach Don, looks like he has given them a chance for 3 using the run back instead. So I think they're looking to run this rock, this corner guard into that yellow rock that's on the top of the 4-foot. And ideally they stick right there and they do get their 3 points that way. I think this is a good call from the coach.
So our first look at Kesler Bachek throwing a high difficulty shot here. It'll be a great opportunity for us to see for the first time this game how the team works to navigate this type of shot. Really exciting stuff here in our third end of play. Early straight sweep. Liking it so far, makes contact. Just under curls a bit, narrowly missing the one at the top of the button. It is a single score for Team Bachek. And we have a tie game going into the fourth end. We'll see you back here after our commercial break.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
Well, we welcome you back to our fourth end of play here at the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Provincial Championship. Our featured game is between Nathan Schoenhardt and Kesler Bachek. It is a battle. It is tied 2-2 so far. And we have a ton of games here on Curling Stadium Live that you have access to. 2 feature games with 2 color commentary. I have Jason Ginter joining me today. There are a ton of games going on across the sheet, and I'm going to give you a quick little update on our men's games going on so far and the scores that are going on. And of course, you can see all of those games with or without color commentary on Curling Alberta's YouTube channel, or you can access it through Curling Zone. So we are in draw 3, and we have 3 other games alongside our game going on today. We have Evan Clark taking on Nolan Duncan. Evan Clark is one of the teams that is currently sitting at 2-0, and they are at a 4-0 deficit to Nolan Duncan. We have Peter Lushik, who is also at 2-0, taking on Riker Miller, and Peter Halushik is currently winning 5-0, trying to keep their undefeated record. And we have Caleb Hofstra versus Austin Henning, and right now after 3 ends, the score is 0-0. So tons of great games going on. If you'd like to check in with some of those games, you can access them using the links provided, or you can check out the scores. All are being live updated using curlingalberta.ca/competitions. Follow the score, and you're able to see all of the scores for all of our games. Jason, we are back in action. Again, the leads with no mistake here going into the fourth end and approaching our halfway mark. What are you seeing out of both teams so far?
I think what I'm seeing is a lot of aggression, a lot of aggressive shot selections, and it seems like a choice to be a little more risk averse. So I'd like to see the team with the hammer maybe look to mix things up a little bit less now. Now that Team Bachek has won the hammer back from Schoenhardt, I mean, a safe deuce might be a call, just knowing that everyone is been playing to the center for most of the game. I think this might be a time to switch it up. But I think what I've seen so far out of both teams is one big shot here or there swinging ends. It was the first end, Team Schoenhardt making that little hit and roll to sit second shot to avoid a big steal. Team Schoenhardt again in the second end, making that shot for two. After Team Bachek came a little bit deep, and then Team Bachek playing for a multiple score, and having the potential for three, and it just not going their way. So lots of exciting plays so far. We're seeing it a little bit less, I think, now with a couple of takeouts being thrown, but still the guard's up, and here we are.
Now, Jason, I love a key matchup, and usually we find that key matchup in the third position or in our skip position, but I'm taking a look at how these ends are trending, and it looks like our key matchup is really here at the second position, with many of the turns that you were talking about in the ends coming out of those stones. And unfortunately, mostly on the miss side. That being said, it's something that both teams are really going to have to navigate, and a spot that we as commentators and spectators are going to be keeping a close eye on for the duration of the game.
Absolutely, yeah. As we see second for Team Schoenhardt, Carter Bishop. There might be the odd miss here or there, but I think it's been throughout the end. Skips have missed, thirds have missed, seconds have missed. The leads actually have been playing quite well, and that might be why we start to see the miss out of the second position. Evan, if a player on your team is struggling, what types of things might you say to them going into the second half of this game as we approach the middle of the fourth end to try to get them back on track?
It's a really good question, and I think it comes down to just getting back into that role responsibility and isolating those roles as best as possible and getting back to what you know. And sometimes we try to overcompensate when we're not performing in one area, and we try to do a little bit more in another. But it's a 4-person team out there, and actually a 5-person team in this scenario with having access to our coaches. And so just taking it step by step and gathering the information you need out of your teammates to work within that tolerance and to make sure you are understanding the sheet and the needs of each shot opportunity. And going back to basics too as well, even just taking a look here at the rock thrown here by Team Bachek. Simple objectives, right? Making contact when we're trying to hit a stone. It's all about just a simple objective, addressing plan A first and getting the extras out of it as a team. And I think that's something that these teams and these young athletes might want to rely on moving forward, is just isolating it down, going back to basics, and performing objective A first, and then getting a little bit more out of it as a team. That'll definitely help.
Definitely. And I think as the skip, just playing to the shot thrower's strength a bit more. If somebody's a little bit more strong or a little bit stronger on a draw than a hit, or an out turn than an in turn, just playing to some of those strengths, playing some easier shot selection. We've seen a lot of aggressive calls, a lot of shots that the risk was quite high. Maybe just playing shots with a little bit less risk or a little bit more room for error.
And you brought up a really great point too as well. It is that team effort, and it does kind of work in all roles, starting with the skip and shot selection and making sure that we're gathering that information from our teammates. But in draw number 1, we did see a team run out of time and not be able to complete the game, and unfortunately didn't have the desired outcome that they would have liked. And that 34 minutes of thinking time does put a little bit of pressure too as well. So being able to focus in on your own role and really get the most out of everything is super key for these young athletes throughout the week. As that exhaustion settles in And as the long days settle in, relying on one another is going to be a key tool that each one of these teams is going to have in their skill set to get through the long week. And those are the teams we're going to see in the final, Jason, are those teams that are able to draw on all of their resources and to be able to put the pieces together of that big puzzle.
I love that. Yeah, it's the best team that wins these long championships. Usually, you can't hide anywhere now. You can't hide a player. You know, if a team misses, it's a full team miss. Every person has an opportunity to make a difference on every shot. As we see, our two sweepers are urging this rock, I think, to curl, as we get a little leg there. But yeah, it just seems like you have such an impact now, regardless of your role on the team, that you can make a difference at any point. And even if it's a big weight takeout and you're the outside sweeper and you're not needed, you can go back and make a difference after the shot's over by saying the right thing to your teammate and just being a good teammate out there as well. So curling's the ultimate team game in that way. Just the four of you out there. It's so nice to see teams, when they're successful, rely on one another to just do their roles.
So Jack O'Dean with the hit and roll out, leaving an opportunity for Dylan Miller to get on top of this redstone with a nice draw. Sweepers are backing off of it, though, as it looks like it's coming to the house a little bit heavy. And will it land at the back of the rings? Looks like Nathan is able to sweep that rock through, and a missed opportunity for Kesler Bachek to put some pressure on Team Schoenhardt as Bachek sits in this end without the hammer.
Yeah, we've seen, I think, just mostly on the even end. So the shots coming home, typically when we've seen the miss being a little bit heavy, I think at this point I might say, okay, hey, maybe we might have a little difference in speed. Maybe we should just try to aim a little bit higher in the house if we can't make that adjustment, and just try to visualize a little bit differently as we play the last half of this game. As Jack has had this shot before, we saw him throw this in the second end, and it looks like he's made a great adjustment. He's put it right on the tee line now. Split the house, advantage Team Schoenhardt.
Now there is a small out here for Team Bachek as they are working to make sure that they force Team Schoenhardt to a single point here, but both of those rocks are behind the tee line. So if they can get a rock here right on top of the face of that stone on the side of the 4-foot, they potentially have an opportunity to force Team Schoenhardt here late in the end.
Yeah, I think this is when, you had mentioned, how often does the deuce happen when teams just split the house? And the answer is not that much. In this instance, there was an opportunity to take this shot away by just throwing a rock in the top of the 8-foot around that card. By playing that shot to the wings, it left this as an opportunity for Kesler. Sweepers need this to get to the tee line. Even just biting the 4-foot should count out that second shot, and I don't believe it got there. So line was great, just needed a little more weight.
So a small over curl and a little bit light for Kesler Bachek, and has Team Schoenhardt still sitting 2 shots here at the latter part of end number 4.
Now, Team Schoenhardt is sticking with the strategy of staying away from this rock right behind the tee line. I don't know if I necessarily like giving Kesler the same shot again. Just knowing that he can make that small adjustment and take the whole end away. So in this spot, I actually might be looking to either put a rock in the top of the 8-foot, potentially guarding that freeze attempt, or just trying to make it yourself.
It's just those little nuances, like you said here, as Nathan throws his first rock in the 4th end. But, even just something as simple as changing the path really for the opposition definitely puts a different kind of pressure. Not giving him the same shot twice is a real advantage. And for some of these teams, and for all of these teams, the little advantage or taking away some of those advantages might end up transforming some of their games or swaying some of their games in a more positive way. As Nathan Schoenhardt here draws the backside of the forefoot, but still leaving that opportunity for Kesler Bachek to freeze to the stone at the back of the four.
No, that was a great management, great sweep from Team Schoenhardt. If they had left that in the top of the forefoot, there would have been a triple option for Team Bachek. So bringing that to the back, yes, it does. It's farther from the button, and it's behind the tee line, gives Team Bachek a chance to make a pretty easy double to give up just the two. But that being the call, I think that was a great management by the sweeper.
So what do you think Don Bachek is saying to his team right now as they're looking to mitigate some of these red stones?
I think he's likely asking Kesler, how comfortable are you making this draw? Because you just threw it. If you make it, that's going to take the end away. If you don't feel confident in that shot, you don't lose the game by playing this double. Maybe we just play the double. I think that's just all in the eye of the skip here. What does the skip feel? What does the skip think that he can make? And I think based on that broom position, what do you think he's playing?
Yeah, I think it's the draw.
Okay.
But maybe it is the outturned double. I know they were kind of gesturing that way too as well, and that broom would make sense because that is the straighter side. It does look like he's set up there for the outturn. So we are seeing an outturned double here.
Okay, yeah, two positive results here are available for Team Bachek. One making the double and removing both. Other would be just sitting in front of it. Looks like it just over curled. That was our first big mistake from Team Bachek.
Yeah, it just looked like Kesler came out of the hack a little bit narrow of the broom, but then also recognizing that it was probably in a straight spot, didn't want to set it back too far and just helping it a little bit over, catching a little bit of extra curl with that soft release.
So that might have been a bit of, knowing your opposition there. Team Schoenhardt gave Kesler that option to draw, knowing that maybe we'll entice him to throw the hit instead. He decided to throw the hit, and it wasn't made either. So Team Schoenhardt, big opportunity here, last rock of the fourth end. This is an open draw to the forefoot for 3 points.
Sweepers really liking this rock. No backing needed as Nathan Schoenhardt and his team draw to the back of the button. It is a big 3 on the board as Team Schoenhardt goes up 5-2 here at the end of the fourth. We are going to take a fourth end break, and a longer break here. We'll meet you back in Leduc on Curling Live in about 5 minutes.
What's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Don't forget your brooms. Yep, you got it.
Come on up. What do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Curling Alberta's 50-50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
All right, we are back here at the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Provincial Championship, draw number 3. Now our teams are just finishing up their fourth end break, as they do get a little bit of a longer break for a little bit of rest and recovery and opportunity to talk to their coaches. We did see a big 3-ender go on the board for Team Schoenhardt. Jason, let's do a little bit of a game recap so far. What are you seeing out there? What's these next 3, or I guess 4 ends going to look like for both of these teams moving forward now that we do have a point gap on the board?
Yeah, obviously the big 3-ender pops on the scoreboard. But the game story, I think, just dives down to shots after the miss. So we have seen some misses, some either just lapses in ice reading, misses in weight, some line stuff, but it's just, what does the team do after that miss? If the shot is made right after the miss, that team's in a huge advantage. You know, it's a double whammy. And Team Schoenhardt, they made 4 great shots in the last 4 shots of the end there to take the 3, and Team Bachek just couldn't respond. So I think, yeah, moving forward, you know, obviously we're going to see some more changes in the ice conditions a little bit as the ice gets worn down now. We're going to see the coaches make a bit of an impact between ends, maybe on helping that ice reading. And then, you know, who's going to have that mental resilience to either keep the lead or come back from this 3-point deficit. A really, really exciting second half of this game.
Now, if I was Robert and if I was Don and thinking about coaching too as well, and the information as we see Nathan with a little bit of get up and go as he skips down the ice, obviously good spirits going on there, but as a coach I might think about taking a little bit of information from these first 4 ends back into my notes and think, you know, okay, how are we setting up ourselves with success, and how are we getting the information that we need earlier on in the end? And maybe both of these teams might benefit from simpler play, like you mentioned, in the first couple of ends, and not because they're not able to make those complex shots, but making sure that there's thorough understanding of the sheet to help set up, more precision when playing more complex shots.
Absolutely, as we see Reed Jones here throwing the first shot at the end. We might see a little bit of a difference in strategy here from Team Schoenhardt with the 3-point lead. It looks like the broom is positioned in the top of the 4, but it is, the sweepers are acting like they want this guard here. So we're gonna see another guard, as Nathan is very attentive to the little bits of debris that might be on the ice. So yeah, I said we might see a change in strategy. It doesn't appear as though it has been any change. So Team Schoenhardt still going at it with the center guard to start the end.
Now, Jason, most of our viewers would be familiar with this, but if there's anybody tuning in that's not 100% sure, there are some different nuances to the game that teams have been playing with for the last couple of years, and we do have the 5-rock rule in play, but we also have the no-tick rule. Talk to us a little bit about the importance of the no-tick rule as we see Reed Jones's rock land there on the center line, short of where they wanted in the house. But talk to us a little bit more about that no-tick rule and how it might come into play here for both of these teams.
Yeah, so just a a couple years ago, we saw the no-tick rule come into play through the Grand Slam circuit a bit and then adopted worldwide. So the no-tick zone is essentially anywhere in the free guard zone, so above the house, but just touching the center line, looking overhead. That rock can no longer be moved off the center line by the opposing team. So not only can they not peel the rock, but they can't actually tick it off of the center line either. And if that happens, then the team the non-offending team would have the choice of either leaving the rocks in play or removing that rock that was thrown by the opposition and repositioning that rock on the top or on the center line. So just adding a little more precision to the lead position, honestly. Now the leads should be practicing hitting that center line at all costs, just because of how much of an advantage it would be to have the opposition run into your rock, and essentially it's 8 rocks against 7 at that point.
So Max Ingram here with the draw around the corner, looks to be a little bit heavy and go right through the rings, but I love how Nathan and his team managed Reed's first stone and that stone that is touching the center line, because they recognized that it was going to be light or short early. Yet had they continued to sweep it to try to get it closer to the rings, they may have promoted some extra curl and it actually curling off or over the center line there, and then that tick rule wouldn't be applicable to the stone. So really recognizing that because it wasn't in the rings, keeping it on the center line and taking advantage of that no tick, that's some smart play and that's some smart thinking by all members on that team. So Carter Bishop here with his first stone of the end, looking to draw to the top of the 4 without the hammer and putting that extra pressure. And Jason, we do have some common knowledge of strategy, specifically when we're up on the board, but teams usually without the hammer try to play along that center line and make things more complex with the team with the hammer, and the team with the hammer usually tries to keep that center line and that 4-foot open, and it looks like Team Schoenhardt is doing just that by congesting that center line area and the top of the 4-foot.
Yeah, for sure. Just knowing that they still can't peel, right? That rock on the wing there might have been an option to peel in the old 4-rock rule with the seconds first. They can't peel, so they've elected to keep those rocks in the center line. And with the 3-point lead, another guard might not have been the right call there. I think they were actually looking to draw right around the red. But they've put it in a really good place now. They can promote that later in the end. They've taken control of that control zone, I think, for the entirety of the end now, as it looks like, until Team Bachek makes the play on that intern side.
So for our viewers at home who are tuning into our game but want a little bit of an update is what's going on the men's sheets across the Leduc Curling Club. We have Riker Miller taking on Peter Halushik, and Peter Halushik has extended his lead to 6-0 going into the 4th end break. Caleb Hofstra and Austin Henning are in a tight 0-0 battle. No score up on the board after 4 ends. If you're interested in how that's unfolding, you might want to take a look at that live stream here on Curling Alberta's YouTube page. And we have Evan Clark, the other undefeated team, taking on Nolan Duncan, and Nolan Duncan is holding on to his 4-1 lead going into the 5th end and the second half of play. We have some great games going on, and the landscape of our standings is going to change significantly after this draw.
Absolutely, and it's really nice that with the 8 sheets in the Leduc Curling Club, it's given us the opportunity to have both the men's and the women's event going on at the same time. I could provide a little update on the women's side as well. We have Team Yurko, who is currently at 2-0 record, playing against Team McGriskin. They're currently tied at 2. Team McGriskin has the hammer. We have 2-0 Deskiffert versus 0-2 Roa. Team Deskiffert is up 7-2 with the hammer after 4. We have 1-1 Team Wyatt versus 2-0 Team Cooey. We have Team Wyatt tied with the hammer, playing the 5th end. It's 2-2. And we have Team DeSormo at 1-1 versus Team McMillan 0-2. Team McMillan is tied up with the hammer, playing 5. So lots of close games there over on the women's side, and you can also catch those on our YouTube page, Curling Alberta, or Curling's own YouTube pages. or you can also find all of them on the line scores via curlingalberta.ca/competition/follow the score.
So Team Schoenhardt here sitting one at the top of the 8-foot, with Team Bachek here looking to draw around both rocks on the center line there and take control of that 4-foot zone. Jason, it is the new year. Happy New Year to all of our viewers, and there is a ton of curling going on, not only across our province, but across our nation as teams are trying to qualify for their respective provincial championship. And also, too, as well, we have the mixed doubles curling trials going on. So tons of curling going on YouTube. I'm glad that our viewers are tuning in to us. They get to spend their morning and afternoon with us here on Curling Stadium. But tons of curling here in the new year. Right now here in Alberta, we also have our U18 championships and our last chance qualifiers going on this weekend for men's and ladies. We have the men's last chance qualifier in Cochrane, Alberta, and the women's last chance qualifier for the Provincial Scotties and Boston Pizza Cup. That is happening in Brooks on the ladies' side. So tons of curling. If you wanted to stay at home all day, curl up on the couch and watch curling, you are able to do so. Glad that you have taken a liking to Jason and I so far. And we have a barn burner of an end going on with Team Bachek just coming up a little bit short on that draw through the port.
Yeah, if you haven't watched any of the curling here in the Leduc Curling Club, our U18 provincials thus far, you're missing out. Like, there has been, 6s, 7s, there has been extra ends, there's been double extra ends. There was a team that ran out of time. Like, you wouldn't imagine what you're missing out on. You'll never know what we're going to expect going into the rest of the week, and that was just on day one. So that's just curling, and curling at the U18 level, anything can happen. So I think it's really important that you all tune in, especially with Evan's commentary. It's been awesome to listen to thus far. I think you'll get to hear him for the rest of the week.
Well, and if you're in the area too as well, the Leduc Curling Center is inside the Black and Gold Recreation Center in Leduc, and it is an incredible venue, has an opportunity for you to sit upstairs and watch the games through restaurant, lounge area, and also some great viewing in behind the sheets too as well. Ton of great curling going on and a great curling environment, and Leduc is no stranger to hosting amazing championships. Way back when it hosted the Boston Pizza Cup, but has also taken on a ton of national championships and slam events too as well.
Yes, I've curled in various provincial championships at the Leduc Curling Center, and I think one of my most memorable events was the 2018 Curl for Canada, where they had the U Sports, they had the college national championship, they had the wheelchair. I think they also had the club curling championships all at the same time. So super great to have Leduc still on board hosting provincial events such as this, and providing just quality ice conditions, but not just the ice conditions, just quality experience for all of the fans and the curlers alike.
So we see Nathan Schoenhardt here with his first stone of the end, sitting two, one at the top of the 8 and one at the back of the 4-foot there as we see it, trying to navigate this port and put a ton of extra pressure here without the hammer on Team Bachek.
As we see Carter Bishop again sweeping that rock for straight and for distance. Carter has been the inside sweeper on a lot of big sweeps, using his size to his advantage and making sure that rock gets into the house. So far he's been crucial on a lot of these sweeps.
We talked a little bit earlier on about seeing some of those misses out of Carter early, but you also recognize that the importance of his role too as a sweeper and the duty that he has to play doing that too as well, and that does take a little bit of energy out of you, and so it's just managing both of those roles, and Carter is doing an excellent job at maintaining his composure in both, for sure, but definitely his size and the demand that he has to sweep those stones, it's incredible.
Yeah, you see that as one of the biggest difference makers as these players age into U18. I think is we start to see some size differences between some of the curlers. Just trying to get as much of your weight on the broom, regardless of how big you are. You can't control that. So it's important to not only train the technique of the throw, but training sweeping technique as well, just to get the most out of your own sweep.
So the situation has changed a little bit with that run here in the house, and it looks like that stone has moved off the back of the 4-foot just over to the side of the 8-foot. And yellow is sitting second shot, and Nathan is trying to figure out if he's going to address that stone or if he's going to draw through that port into the top of the 4. And sitting shot, Jason, I might be a little ambitious in trying to draw to the top of the 4-foot here and put a little bit more pressure on Team Bachek if I was Team Schoenhardt.
Yeah, potentially. That rock in the back 8 is still accessible if there's potential for a port there. It is difficult, but this is the safe call. I think you're less likely to give up more than 1 point here by just removing this rock. Just looking at the 3-point lead, it's never a bad idea to get the rock into the boot rack. Yeah.
It does look a little tasty here too as well. If you can remove the stone without jamming it, red now sits 4 in the rings as Kesler Bachek goes to throw his last shot. Maybe that was a part of their decision making too as well, as that extra pressure of just giving up a 3-ender and now having to face 4 against your last one. Now there is that stone right at the back of the 8-foot, so if Kesler needs that to land on to and to score his 1 point, he definitely will utilize it. But scoring here is now vital for Team Bachek if they want to continue seeing more ends after this one.
10, 11,
This big draw here, it looks like he needs a piece of the 4-foot for his single.
So Max Ingram on the outside carve, trying to tease it over to make sure that it does have that back red there as backing. And after a little bit of a leg, the backing is used, and Team Bachek will score their single point, and Team Schoenhardt will take a 5-3 lead moving into the 6th end of play. We'll be back with you after a short commercial break.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Curling Alberta's 50/50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
We welcome you back to Draw 3 at the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Provincial Championships. My name is Evan Asmussen. Color commentary provided to you by Jason Ginter. We're coming here live on your screen through Curling Stadium, and we have a 5-3 lead for Team Schoenhardt over Team Bachek, playing the 6th end of play here. Leads back to their regular business. Jason, it's a new year, new me, and new champions are going to be determined here by the end of the week.
Yes, it's really cool to see a lot of these young teams breaking in the new year, obviously there's going to be one team on the men's side and one team on the women's side crowned as the new Team Alberta. But luckily for us, we actually get to crown 2 Team Albertas on each side. So there will be a Team Alberta number 1 and a Team Alberta number 2 at the National U18 Championships. So both teams that qualify for the championship final will be sent to the Nationals.
That's a great opportunity for our athletes here, not only to have that provincial opportunity and that championship opportunity, but to go and get a little bit of national experience too as well. Jason, you've competed at a ton of national events, not only in the junior juvenile rankings, but also most recently at the Tim Hortons Brier. What kind of, I guess, degree of development do national championships provide over what you might see here at a provincial championship?
I guess just think about, if you've curled in a provincial championship, how cool it is to be able to curl against all your peers. It's just something that you strive for. Multiply it by 10 and then you get the national level. Like it's something that I think, just increases the love for the game for basically everyone at the event. You're seeing people from all across the all across the provinces and territories, and I think that it's a really cool opportunity to just compare yourself and just see, okay, so this is how Alberta's doing, this is how Saskatchewan's doing, all across the provinces. It's really, really neat to be able to compare yourself to those other teams across Canada.
We know curling is such a privilege too as well, and curling, although it is a very accessible sport, equitable and equal for a ton of our curlers, we also know too as well that things happen and life happens, and a lot of these curlers right now are able to take advantage of the sport itself, but later on in life they're going to have to make some decisions as to what curling is going to look like for themselves too as well. So getting to compete at a national championship, it might be their only opportunity to do so, right? And so being able to deliver 2 teams from our province on the men's and ladies side is just that cherry on top of that curling reward and that privilege in curling.
It just goes to show, like, okay, so you're representing not only your province but your community as well. So we have curling teams from all across our province vying for that opportunity. And we have a team from Grand Prairie on the women's side. They'll be representing not only their community, or not only their province, but their community as well. And you get to see that support from your local curling club, from your local curling community, when you get to go to a national championship such as that. And you just to see everyone, on your back, supporting you as you go through that journey.
Now, both of these teams here that we have in Team Schoenhardt and Team Bachek are looking to improve their record to a 2-1 record after this game. Schoenhardt here up 5-3 with the hammer, playing the 6th end. A rock there just at the back of the forefoot. And it has been the typical game story here, throwing up the guard in the come-arounds, but we have seen these ends become more complex as risk and reward have or have not paid off. And Team Schoenhardt definitely here in the driver's seat.
Yes, definitely. When we see this risk versus reward mindset from both teams, oftentimes we get games that are a little bit more lopsided. You have somebody that's on and somebody that might just be a little off, and that little discrepancy is really accentuated throughout the scoreboard throughout the game. This game, we've seen both teams on, both teams off at different times. So with that strategy, we'll start to just see, okay, so just how much risk are we going to take here? And now with Schoenhardt being up by 2 and have the hammer, we should see a lot less risk being played by their team and a little bit more being taken on by Team Bachek.
So Team Schoenhardt here trying to remove that yellow Bachek stone out of play, nosing it and just catching their back yellow or their back red as a consequence, but really not a big issue, as rocks in play, specifically at the back of the tee line, are definitely not in favor of Schoenhardt right now, as Team Bachek is looking to try to find and generate a steal opportunity with only 3 ends left to play. The scoreboard is starting to separate, and the time that Team Bachek has is slowly running out.
As we see, Kesler is trying to use every rock he can to his advantage. He's freezing to that top 8 stone. This one's just coming up a bit short. However, I do think that is within the tolerance. Trapping off and just kind of rolling out into the open isn't a usable stone for Kesler, and leaving that rock in the free guard zone, especially with Nathan's first thought is to just draw into the house. It might give Team Bachek a chance to use those guards to steal later in the end.
Now, I might have thought that Nathan here would be calling the peel on the rock that was just thrown and trying to keep things a little bit more open, but definitely trying to put some more stones in strategic spots, drawing to the open side of the wide side, recognizing that he does have the hammer too as well, but maybe looking to put another big score up on the scoreboard and close out this game for good here.
Maybe we'll give Nathan the benefit of the doubt here, knowing that he's been curling at the U18 level for a while, and he might see this as an opportunity to close the game here with a few more makes. Kesler has shown some aggression this end, and once we get back into the action, we'll see that he is choosing to ignore that red stone in the back of the 8. Looks like they're just going to draw around the guards. And I really like this call. I think at this point in the game, giving up 1 really isn't going to do you any favors. It's really important for you to steal here.
So Dylan Miller in the hack with his first stone of the end, and maybe the second stone of the end, and choosing to play the out-turn draw to the center here, and it does look a little bit nicer to the eye to wrap it around that way versus the in-turn.
Yeah, you can see Andrew is really hoping for this rock to stop as it approaches the house. And it at least does on our screen. I don't know if it... Oh yeah, there it is. Really good result there from Team Bachek. It is behind the tee line, so it gives Team Schoenhardt a chance to freeze up to it, but it takes all the play away from that rock on the wing and brings everything to the center. So yeah, you'll see Team Schoenhardt now, maybe 1 rock too late, look to peel those rocks in the center line.
So if Jack is able to make this double peel here, at least rip off one of them, there should be a little bit more exposure of that back yellow at the back of the 4, but there is a jam potential here. But it looks like Jack's a little bit narrow on his throw, just picking off the top one and leaving that center line guard and most of that yellow Bachek rock at the back of the 4 still covered up. And another opportunity here for Bachek to get a stone into the top of the button and really force the steal.
And as Kesler slides back to the hack, I think we should just take a moment to just consider that one call from Team Schoenhardt to play that rock to the back 8 instead of playing the peel early. It's kind of opened up the door for Kesler to call the draw, for Andrew to then make the draw, and then now Kesler to throw another one. If they played that peel on the first one, even if they just got rid of 1, they could get rid of the second one again, and now there's just 1 yellow in the house. So this is giving Team Bachek a chance to sit 2 for now and have the potential steal 2.
Jason, I love your walkthrough of that too as well, because having commentary, especially null Harry, coming from you too, as well as another additional resource for some of these teams, whether they want to hear it or not. They can come back in after, rewatch some of these games, not only take a look at themselves and how great they look in their uniforms, but also be able to kind of go play by play. And whether they agree with you or not, just having that perspective too as well, and that option to hear it from somebody else's point of view is a really great resource, and I really hope that both these teams come back in and listen to you and your insights throughout the game, and take a look at some of their gameplay, and whether they use it to their own advantage or not is one thing. But yes, this commentary does become a valuable resource to be able to rewatch some of your play.
I know I've done it in the past, and sometimes I don't necessarily agree with the commentary, but we're not always 100% right. Maybe there are certain things and reasons why skips make the choices they do, and I like to usually give them the benefit of the doubt that way. You could just kind of see the course of events happening the way that they have, and Nathan has a chance to make a big shot here to make that all go away anyway. So we'll see it.
So without the hammer, Team Bachek here really forcing the envelope to get Nathan to clear out this guard here and expose those rocks in the rings at the back of the forefoot. And now Team Bachek is going to have to decide what kind of pressure they want to put and how they're going to achieve this steal. And a 4 still isn't bad here for Team Bachek here out of Team Schoenhardt. A 3-point gap isn't necessarily impossible to close, specifically with the 5 rock rule, but a really good guard here. And we might see Team Bachek with an opportunity to steal in end number 6.
Yes, interesting just as to where the optimal place would be for this guard, because you want to take away the potential pick double on the back there, but you also want to take away the potential raise option for Team Schoenhardt. You can't really do both. So it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. You don't want to guard none of it. So you want to make sure you choose the right spot. I think it looks like Kesler's going to leave the raise, just based on where that boom is. He can put it in the exact same line as he just threw. It's going to force Nathan to throw the other turn and change up the shot. And like we said earlier, it's a little less likely to be made if you don't get to play the same shot twice.
Kesler Bachek with his last stone here in end number 6, looking to guard those stones in the forefoot and electing to choose the more naturally kind of gradual curling side, not the aggressive slanted side here. And they're sweeping it a little bit for curl and also bringing it a little bit tighter to close that gap for the draw and take away as much of that slash as they possibly can, or that tap as much as they can. Looks like he still left it, but definitely makes it way more complicated for Nathan here in his final stone.
Yeah, like you said, really good place there for Team Bachek. If they had have potentially taken that rock a little bit farther into the rings, they could have actually taken it all the way, just corner freezing that red one. Obviously wasn't the call. They made it perfect. Great shot from Kesler.
Even if Schoenhardt here comes away with a single score and a single point, what a fantastic end for Team Bachek as they're looking to navigate the next 2 ends with a little bit of a deficit on the scoreboard. And so definitely some positives for Team Bachek. I wouldn't be upset if I held or forced Team Schoenhardt to 1. We have Nathan Schoenhardt here with his last stone looking to make the tap and a single score.
This ice, it looks like he's throwing hit weight at it. Maybe just trying to get one of the yellows out with this run back.
So looking for the curl sweep out of Carter. Just hits it on the high side, missing the rocks at the back of the forward. It's a steal of 2 and a tie game for our curlers here at the end of end number 6. We'll go to commercial break and we'll be back with end number 7 for you here in Leduc, Alberta.
Buckle up, folks.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Coffee. And we welcome you back to draw number 3 of the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Championship. And of course, a wild turn of events here in end number 6 as Team Bachek is able to steal 2 and close that 2-point gap. We're all tied up with 2 ends to play. And Jason, a little bit of a surprising twist at skip stones for Nathan Schoenhardt. And kind of walk us through the thinking of that last stone there and that run back or raise attempt with his final stone.
Yeah, like you had mentioned, right, as he was about to deliver the stone, you had said, okay, well, he's playing this tap back for, for potentially 1. And then when he kicked out he was kicking out with kickout weight. I was a little perplexed just by the decision. Just knowing that the scoreboard, you're up by 2. If you only give up 1 here, it's not a terrible situation. You're still 1 up with the hammer, playing the 7th end. Just the option to even just tap it up into the 4-foot and cancel out one of the 2 stones might have been there for Team Schoenhardt. Just an unfortunate result for sure, but I think it could have just kind of been prevented by just the weight choice more than anything. So if he's just playing a tap back, throwing back house weight, just tapping it into the 4-foot, it's an easier shot. You have a little more room for error, and then B, you have a little bit more of a chance to just get something out of the shot rather than nothing. Just a learning opportunity for Team Schoenhardt for sure. It's not, they're not out of the game. They have the hammer and they're tied, so they're still in a good position, but it could have been that much better just by a little bit better weight choice.
Now Max and Reed back to no good here again with their amazing shot making here at the start of the 7th end. And Jason, you did kind of mention it here towards the end of your little chat there, but we talk about managing the scoreboard, and though it is a tie game, we do have only 2 ends left to play as we enter the 7th end, and I guess as it sits right now, both teams would have 1 hammer each, with Team Bachek having, at least right now, the hammer going into the 8th end. And so that, I guess that steal of 2 rather than a steal of 1 definitely changes as we talk about hammer equality working towards the ends. And just talk to us a little bit about the importance of the hammers and that scoreboard management for these teams.
Yeah, so the team with the hammer now, Team Schoenhardt, they should have had a bit of a decision that they would have made with their coach before the end started in that pre-end meeting to say, okay, what would we want to do with plan A? And then secondly, what we'd want to do as a plan B. So in this instance, would their plan B, well, plan A would be to score more than 1 point, I think, just based on their selection to throw a corner guard. But plan B, would you rather give up a steal and keep the hammer in the 8th end, or would you rather take 1 and give the other team the hammer in the 8th end? And, that's something that some teams would rather have the hammer. Maybe Team Schoenhardt would rather not and rather score. Some teams have strengths as to their ability to force the other team in the 8th end and take that hammer into the extra end. So we'll see. Nathan's going to have to navigate that thinking as the end progresses here. Ideally, I think the score of the 2 I think is the play here. Plan B I think would be either to score 1 or blank. In my opinion, blank would be a great result. You keep the hammer into the 8th end.
So Carter Bishop throwing his first stone here in the 7th end. But if you take a look at the scoreboard behind us and behind our sheet here, you're going to notice that Team Schoenhardt has been able to convert in the 2 opportunities that they've had in end number 2 and end number 4, multiple points. So they're going to look to replicate that here in the 7th end if they're not able to blank it. But they have had the opportunity to score big when they needed to. And so that's something that they can look towards or draw upon too, that they've been able to convert. And for Team Bachek themselves, they've definitely outscored ends than Team Schoenhardt here. And so they've been able to put a lot of pressure on their opposition, and they'll be looking to do that here to force Team Schoenhardt to take a single point. But definitely want to make sure, if you're Team Bachek, that you come out in the 8th end with the hammer, unless you're okay with being down 1, which would be that force like Jason was talking about. So Dylan Miller here with the draw to the top of the 4-foot, just coming up a little bit short, but fully half buried behind that center line guard and in a good spot. High fives all around, and we've got gameplay here in end number 7.
Yeah, so obviously with that big steal of 2 in the 6th, momentum has shifted back in favor of Team Bachek. Although, you know, the advantage is still in Team Schoenhardt with the hammer and tied up. You get a sense of just a bit of body language being shown by both teams, you know, heads being held high and maybe heads down. But all the high fives there from Team Bachek, like they have all the fight in the world. They, you know, they're a young team. They don't know what they don't know yet. And they know they have a pretty good chance to win this game still. They're still happy. I'd like to see Team Schoenhardt be able to park that last end and just move on with this, knowing that they still have a pretty good chance to win this game.
So Kesler asking Dylan to draw around the corner and kind of choke off that corner. Talk us a little bit through the thinking around this play here rather than guarding that center line.
It's tough. Like, I think you have the option to guard for sure, and you know that Team Schoenhardt has shown that they would rather peel the guard. But that rock in the top 12 isn't really good enough to steal, in my opinion. And I think in Kesler's eye, he saw the option to force as being option number 1 now, and the best chance to force would be to just throw another one in the house. But at the same time, choking off the ability for Team Schoenhardt to bury behind there. So good call, just overcurl a little bit, but it still did meet, I think, both objectives. Just biter in the house and still cut off that draw path.
So Nathan Schoenhardt here asking Jack O'Dean to make the double. So a little bit of a wobble slide for Jack. It looks like he slid a little bit wide and really hard to get that stone back online. Dropping his shoulder there, just misses the attempted stone through the port and leaves Bachek sitting 2 and choking off that corner guard here.
Yeah, just an unfortunate mistake there from Team Schoenhardt. However, I still, the end situation hasn't changed a lot. It's more than likely that Team Schoenhardt is going to have a chance for 1. And with those 2 rocks over on the wing, those 2 red corner guards, there's always going to be a potential for a hit and roll over towards that side of the sheet. So, yes, it was a flash. However, there still isn't a lot of huge steal opportunity at this point yet for Team Bachek.
So Andrew Southworth being asked to draw around that top 12 one here. Put a little bit of pressure. Take control of the 4-foot. So at the outside sweep here by Max Ingram. Overcurling it just a little bit and chipping off the top yellow, rolling to the wing. And now Team Bachek sits 3 stones all at the top of the rings.
Yeah, pretty good result there. Obviously, it wasn't plan A, but just the ability to spread those rocks out. Now that there's 3 in the house, the blank isn't really in play at this point. And it's keeping Team Schoenhardt away from the corner guard at this point. So still a pretty good result there from Andrew.
So do you think now that the blank is potentially out of the question here, that Schoenhardt might have made the decision rather than to attempt this double to play the hit and roll underneath their corner, which it looks like it might just do anyways? No. But do you think that they might have made that decision now, recognizing that the blank is maybe a little bit more difficult to achieve.
Yes, obviously we're assuming that that yellow rock at the top there is in the house. I think it is. But with there being 3 in the house and only 3 rocks left and no, super easy doubles there, I would have been more likely to just throw the hit and roll, either hit and roll from the wing towards the center or hit that center rock and go towards the wing. Playing that double, even if you make it, Team Bachek could just simply hit and stay to sit 2 spread across the house. That might have been the time of the end to make that change.
And you did talk about that too, Jason, too, as well, in that whole management process is when's there this green light and when is there this, red light to start treading the waters differently and either bail out or start to take a little bit more risk. But we see here a small conversation happening between Kesler and Andrew as they decide what's their best plan of attack to put some pressure on Team Schoenhardt.
Yeah, at this point, when it's a tie game, when nobody really has control of the game, I would say in a tie game or a theoretical tie, so that's when one team has a lead but the other team has the hammer. It would be kind of like a yellow light situation, right? Where you're playing and you kind of have to decide in the middle of the end whether you want to go into a situation where you're trying to score multiple points. Or if you're trying to hit the brakes and peel out of the end to get the blank. So obviously if there's no red light situation, there's only one way you can go, and that would be the green light situation, go for multiple.
So Kesler with the in-turn hit here, sweeping to hit the nose and to keep a more complicated top of the house here. Hands go up, I'm not sure why, but nose hit for Team Bachek, fist pumps all around, and 3 rocks in play as Nathan Schoenhardt goes to throw his first rock of end number 7.
Yeah, and the hands up, he was saying, hands up, easy game, right? Easy game. As he made that hit and stay perfectly. It looked like coach for Team Schoenhardt has urged them to hit the rock that is in shot position rather than that top 12 rock. I like the call. I think this gives them an opportunity to force Team Bachek into making something to force. If they hit the top rock, they might not even be in the house. So good interaction there from coach. A little more curl to get underneath the yellow, and it doesn't. But however, it is sitting for shot stone.
So as it sits right now, Jason, it looks like Team Schoenhardt is probably going to be forced to their single here. And again, we talked about how teams are getting more comfortable with different situations coming into the 8th end. And with that single point on the scoreboard, or with that opportunity to be forced, what decision making might Team Schoenhardt have to make here as they're approaching the last stone?
Well, if we try to think ahead and we visualize a nose hit here from Team Bachek, I think he's likely going for the little roll inside to force a double attempt or a draw for Team Schoenhardt. I think Team Schoenhardt is going to have to think, okay, would I rather be one up or one down here? This rock is really diving.
Just captures the inside piece of that red stone. Both go out of play, fortunately for Team Bachek, and it looks, and they're going to let us know, but it looks that Team Bachek is sitting 2 at the top of the 12-foot there. Team Schoenhardt having to make a decision. Are they going to be able to hit and roll into the rings to score their win? Or will they have to play the draw?
It looks like the hit and stay is no good. It looks like that would be out of the house and we give up a steal. However, maybe that's what Schoenhardt wants. whether they want the hammer or not. But there is an outside chance they could throw a big weight double attempt and spin up out of the house. That would be the most difficult of the shots, with the best result. It looks like they've elected to hit and roll into the house. I like the option. I think let's put the hammer in the hands of the other team. Team Schoenhardt has been very successful with the force so far.
So Nathan Schoenhardt with his final stone of end number 7, Reed Jones and Carter Bishop on the sweep, looking to eliminate that stone top 12, roll into the rings for their single point here in end number 7. Sweepers like it. We've got a little bit of a leg. It looks to be a hard sweep and the inside roll rolling into the top 12. That is a single point for Team Schoenhardt. They go up 6-5 as we enter our last end of play here in Leduc, Alberta.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
Welcome back to our final end here of our feature game between Nathan Schoenhardt of the Crestwood Curling Club and Kesler Bachek of the Okotoks Curling Club. It is a 6-5 decision right now, with Bachek having the hammer here in our last end of play. And it has been a well-played game so far, and a ton of momentum swings here in our final end, as you can see the scoreboard behind our sheet. And here's the time, Jason. Pressure now.
Yeah, this is the situation that a lot of teams practice. Last end, either one up or one down. The team with the lead doesn't have the hammer. How are we going to play it? So Team Schoenhardt trying the center guard. It looks like it's just off the center line. And Team Bachek is elected to throw the corner. So just like end number 1, lots of rocks are going to be in play here. I think we're going to find ourselves with a lot of strategic discussions as this end moves along.
So for our viewers at home, of course, you'll notice that there is some movement behind the sheet that we get privy to see as games are slowly coming to a close. And if you haven't checked in on the men's side recently, some of the scores are a little bit behind on Curling Alberta's score center, but we have Caleb Hofstra and Austin Henning at a 0-0 tie, still moving into the 6th end. Peter Halushek has maintained his 3-0 record now and is currently leading the pack in our standings. Evan Clark finds himself still trailing 4-1 against Team Duncan, and we have our feature game here of Nathan Schoenhardt versus Kesler Bachek, and it is going and coming down to the final stone of the final end. And these leads, Jason, I'm so impressed. Like, it has been tit for tat, tick for tack, tick tock, maybe one might even say, but these leads have played incredible. Both Max and Reed are having a phenomenal game and a phenomenal third game this early in the event.
Yes, that's one thing that you can't always rely on is the leads to position rocks in perfect places. And man, these leads have been just dialed from the get-go, and It's not always easy for Elite to begin and end throwing the right weight, because they're the first ones that get to throw on that track. So super impressive, both Max and Reed both putting rocks with appropriate weight majority of the time. Just really good to see at this level.
You know, Jason, we talked earlier on in the fourth and fifth end about, you know, ways that we can get ourselves to be a little bit more precise and a little bit more accurate with our shot making. And one other thing that these teams can really rely on are those teammates that are finding success in certain paths and in certain areas of the sheet. And both Max and Reed for their teams would be great resources when it comes to thinking about you know, weight for certain shots, as they've been able to find the 4-foot and the tee line consistently throughout the game. And for some of these teams as they're listening in, or for some of our spectators as they're listening in too as well, our teammates that are playing really, really well, those are the teammates that we want to continue playing well and to support them, but they are valuable resources, and that's something that hopefully Nathan and Kesler are thinking about adding into their toolkit or their repertoire here as they continue on through the rest of the week.
Now we have Dylan Miller being asked to throw the run back. Just a rearranged shot. We don't want to necessarily blow everything up, but let's just change the picture a little bit. And we've touched all of the rocks. A very fortunate break there from Team Bachek, being able to make the run back, but I think that's something that Dylan would turn to the other team and say, oh, sorry, wasn't playing that one, but curling's not a call shot game. So very good shot, very good result from Team Bachek, and now Team Schoenhardt is going to be in a bit of trouble.
Got a huge smile out of Reed Jones there, recognizing that wick ticky was a little bit of a luck. But of course, when you see those lucky shots happen, they're always a potential in play, as Carter takes a little bit of a tumble there on his delivery. We have Jack trying to get the most out of this shot here, but it looks like them dropping off that this rock is going to go through the rings. And unfortunate after having that lucky shot come out of Team Bachek to follow it up with a miss here, and it definitely puts Team Bachek in a really nice position as they look to score multiple and win this game here in end number 8.
Yes, it's you know, the shot after miss was something we discussed in the middle of the game, but you know, a momentum swing can happen at any point, and you know, that little wick tick run back shot, you know, might just throw somebody off a little bit, just not expecting them to make that shot. If I were Carter in the hack, I might have just taken a little extra time just to reevaluate the situation. Say, okay, we're playing this shot. Might have got ahead of himself a little bit. Just looking through some of our Curling Alberta YouTube streams, we have another final. We had Team Duncan finish their game against Team Clark. So Team Duncan wins. They've now they have moved to 1-2, and Team Clark has now moved down to 2-1.
So starting to see some separation in the standings right now too, as well as teams crawl their way back up like Team Duncan, and we have Evan Clark drop his first win here of the event. Still early on, but each one of those wins and each one of those losses truly does matter, as Team Schoenhardt here looks to defend their lead in the 8th end and come out with the win, just getting by that guard there for Jack O'Dean and sweeping it right to the face with a wonderful shot and a great rebound after an error there through Carter Bishop. So wonderful shot from Jack.
Yeah, that's a game saver right there. What a beauty from Jack O'Dean.
And as Kesler's trying to navigate his strategy here, not only is that Red Rock in a really good position for depth in the house, but also that Yellowstone that has now been pushed to the back of the rings might come into play for Team Bachek as they're being very meticulous with how they're going to maneuver this red stone just thrown by Team Schoenhardt. Max Ingram on the sweep here, trying to get that yellow stone just thrown by Andrew to curl. Looks like it's just going to catch a piece and shoot it out towards the side. The shooter rolls to the back of, maybe it curled and caught it back of the 12-foot, and it looks like it moved it just enough to potentially sit 2. So if that's the case, a really great shot out of Andrew Southworth.
Yeah, those 2 in the back of the 8-foot. It appears as though yellow's sitting 2. Might be a measure. But yeah, putting pressure on Jack O'Dean to make another clutch draw.
Jack O'Dean with his last stone here in the 8th end, looking to draw to the side of the 4-foot. However, Schoenhardt here, recognizing that guard is fast approaching, just gets by and might be utilizing the backing. And it does come down. It lands just on the tee line, splitting the tee line for shot stone. What a great second shot by Jack O'Dean, and a great pair for this 8th end here in Team Schoenhardt.
Yeah, sometimes it's not what have you done for me, it's what have you done for me lately. And that was just an exceptional 2 shots from Jack O'Dean, especially after the fall from Carter earlier in the end. To come back and make 2 like that, fantastic hurling.
So Kesler Bachek asking Andrew to peel this guard off and to expose that rock just thrown by Jack. Does make the double, but catches onto the side and actually replaces itself and still covers part of that red stone. So a small error by Andrew Southworth as he was looking to open up that red stone completely.
Yeah, just a tough break there. If they were trying to peel the rock, they needed to hit that a lot thicker, or throw the other turn. Just an unfortunate break. There's still that red rock is still at least a piece buried. It's opened the door for Nathan now. If he's able to guard this rock in a good place, he might actually force Team Bachek. So quite the turn of events there after the fall, after the wick tick, and now 2 peaches from Jack and then this one. So just like this whole game, this end is now becoming a bit of a roller coaster ride.
Jason, I'm kind of one to see it as it plays as we see Nathan throw his first stone of the 8th end here, but where that rock by Andrew was left off, it might not come into play, but it definitely comes into that perspective along that 4-foot or 8-foot line there, and it almost maybe takes away a little bit of a draw path and might limit Team Bachek here towards the end of the end. So it's just these little things that slowly start to add up when we're thinking about the landscape of the shot decisions that need to be made towards the end.
If I'm Kesler, I threw that out turn draw path in the 6th end to make that really good shot to the tee line to get the steal of 2, and then the subsequent guard following that. I would like to have that out turn draw path for the 1 or the 2, whatever it might be. So I'm not as concerned about that in-turn draw path as much. However, he would have access to this red stone if this rock is eliminated, this yellow that he's looking at.
So Jason, Bachek is down by 1 here, and on his first stone, he's electing to play the double peel or some kind of a peel here. Would you ever change tactics and maybe draw around that center line stone or that off-center stone that Schoenhardt just threw, recognizing that you do need to score 2 to win this game?
I think short answer, yes. But since we're doing commentary, I'll give you the long answer. The intern double peel here, if he makes it, he's relying on Nathan Schoenhardt to miss, and it looks like he's actually making the run back. Oh, what a beauty! What a shot. I hope that was the call. That was beautiful.
Oh, that was so good, and I hope that was the call too, but you never know.
It looks like he did nudge the other yellow a little bit. So it appears that as though red is third shot. Not that it matters too much. But I guess disregard everything I said. I love the call. He made it perfect.
You know, and Jason, you were going to walk us through there, but we do talk about high risk or low percentage shots or high percentage shots there. And though that was a beautiful shot, and everybody at home who's cheering for Team Bachek is going to raise their hands in the air, that is a very high risk shot with low percentage value to it. It's definitely a shot that gets made less often than most, but it did have a great result. But if we go back to kind of walking through, you know, we talk about the simple shots and the simple shots made, that draw opportunity definitely was available to Team Bachek, and now it goes back in the hands of Team Schoenhardt as they look to defend this lead and make sure that the score of 2 is super difficult for Team Bachek.
Yeah. You know, we've been playing with risk all day. I guess nothing's changed. And, you know, Kesler was feeling that one. So, great shot.
Nathan Schoenhardt with his final rock here in end number 8, drawing against potentially 2, for sure 1 here. Definitely needs to be shot, at least second shot after this stone to force a final rock decision out of Kesler Bachek. Drawing to the 4-foot.
Safe to say he's going to need this one. Looked like it was a bit of a soft release. This is the side that has been straighter, but it is curling very early.
Now our teams are going to let us know, and it looks like handshakes as it was 2 for Team Bachek. And we have a 7-6 decision for Team Bachek over Team Schoenhardt.
What a game. Both teams had their chances. Even that last end, both teams made some great shots. Great curling that now moves Team Bachek to 2-1 and drops Team Schoenhardt down to 1-2.
Jason, I thank you so much for joining me this morning and this afternoon. And our draw number 3 coverage here at the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Championships. Our next draw is this evening tonight for draw number 4. All featured color commentary on 2 select games. You can find us through Curling Stadium Live at Curling Zone or through the Curling Alberta YouTube page. My name is Evan Asmussen. Thank you so much for joining us today. And they did handshake. I don't know if they're still chit-chatting about things, but does seem like that is the end of the end as rocks are being kicked off, and you can join in again tonight to watch draw number 4. Jason, I will see you for the playoff weekend. Our guests are going to be able to listen to us again, and they're going to be here for it and love it, and hopefully we see some of these teams that we saw today on our sheet back in the final, because if that's the case, then we're going to have an exciting game in the Page playoff weekend.
It was a pleasure to do commentary with you, Evan, and thanks again to Tim Burton on the camera work and the production. It's always very very professionally done, so we'd like to thank Tim as well.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston pizza at home.
Curling Alberta's 50-50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
who's fighting for that.